Chapter 17 Brahmacharya, Satitva, Chastity and Fidelity, Understanding and Implications. Brahmacharya, channeling sexual energy for spiritual growth and self-discovery. Introduction. Brahmacharya is a term from Hindu philosophy that traditionally refers to celibacy or sexual abstinence, particularly as practiced by monks and ascetics. However, from a broader perspective, especially in modern times and outside strict religious contexts, Brahmacharya can be understood as a principle of moderation and conscious control over one's sexual energies and desires. Here's an exploration of Brahmacharya from a sexuality point of view. Moderation and balance. Self-discipline. Brahmacharya encourages individuals to practice self-discipline and moderation in their sexual thoughts, desires, and behaviors. It promotes the idea of maintaining control over one's impulses rather than being driven solely by physical urges. Healthy expression. It emphasizes the importance of channeling sexual energy in constructive ways, such as through creative pursuits, spiritual practices, or deepening emotional connections. For instance, individuals might engage in artistic endeavors, physical exercise, or volunteer work as outlets for their sexual energy. Spiritual growth and focus. Higher goals. In spiritual contexts, Brahmacharya is seen as a means to channel sexual energy towards spiritual growth and enlightenment. It involves redirecting the energy that would be expended in sexual activity towards higher pursuits, such as meditation, study, or service. Historical practices such as meditation, yoga, and fasting have often been employed to redirect and transmute sexual energy. Transmutation of energy. Some interpretations suggest that instead of suppressing sexual energy, Brahmacharya involves transmuting it into creative or spiritual endeavors, thereby harnessing its power for personal and spiritual development. Personal development. Self-awareness. Practicing Brahmacharya encourages individuals to cultivate self-awareness and mindfulness around their sexual desires and behaviors. It involves understanding one's motivations and impulses related to sexuality and making conscious choices aligned with personal values and goals. Therapists often encourage mindfulness and introspection as tools for managing desires and making conscious choices. Respect and dignity. It promotes respect for oneself and others in sexual interactions, emphasizing consent, mutual respect, and the dignity of all individuals involved. Modern interpretations. Adaptation. In contemporary contexts, Brahmacharya is interpreted more broadly beyond celibacy or abstinence. It can be seen as a principle of mindful and responsible sexual conduct, encouraging individuals to approach sexuality with integrity, honesty, and respect for oneself and others. Contemporary movements like conscious sexuality emphasize the importance of integrating emotional and spiritual awareness into sexual relationships. Integration with relationships. It recognizes that sexual expression and relationships vary widely among individuals and cultures, emphasizing the importance of healthy communication, mutual consent, and emotional intimacy in sexual relationships. Challenges and misconceptions. Misinterpretation. Brahmacharya can be misinterpreted as promoting sexual repression or denial of sexuality, which may not align with modern understandings of healthy sexual expression. It is important to distinguish between healthy discipline, which involves conscious choices, and repression, which can lead to psychological distress. Individual choice. It is important to recognize that Brahmacharya, as a principle, is a personal choice and may not be applicable or desirable for everyone. Individuals may interpret and practice it in ways that align with their own beliefs, values, and life circumstances. Conclusion. Brahmacharya, from a sexuality point of view, encourages self-discipline, mindfulness, and conscious control over one's sexual energies and desires. It emphasizes moderation, respect for oneself and others, and the pursuit of higher goals or personal development. Modern interpretations recognize the diversity of sexual experiences and emphasize healthy sexual expression, integrity, and mutual respect within relationships and personal growth journeys. Ultimately, Brahmacharya's principles can be adapted to suit individual beliefs and life circumstances, promoting a balanced and respectful approach to sexuality. Satitva. Definition of Satitva. Satitva is a Sanskrit term that can be translated as chastity, fidelity, or purity. In the context of Hindu philosophy and spiritual practice, it generally refers to the principle of maintaining moral and ethical integrity through behaviors that align with one's values and spiritual goals. This includes chastity, upholding sexual purity, and refraining from sexual activities that contradict one's personal or religious principles. Fidelity, being loyal and committed in relationships, whether they are marital or otherwise, by honoring promises and maintaining trust. Purity, encompassing both physical and mental purity, which involves self-discipline, ethical behavior, and adherence to moral standards. Key aspects of Satitva. Holistic integrity. Satitva reflects a comprehensive approach to moral and spiritual integrity. It integrates various principles, including chastity and fidelity, into a unified ethical framework. It emphasizes not just abstinence or purity, but the overall cultivation of moral character and adherence to ethical values. Holistic integrity might involve maintaining honesty in personal and professional relationships, practicing nonviolence, and adhering to dietary restrictions as part of one's ethical framework. Spiritual and moral dimensions. Satitva often has spiritual implications, relating to how individuals align their actions and thoughts with higher moral or spiritual standards. It involves a commitment to maintaining purity and integrity across various aspects of life, including personal behavior, relationships, and spiritual practices. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna emphasizes the importance of purity and self-discipline as part of one's spiritual journey. Commitment to ethical principles. Individuals practicing Satitva are dedicated to upholding a set of ethical principles that guide their conduct and interactions with others. This commitment extends beyond sexual behavior to include honesty, respect, and fidelity in all aspects of life. In many Hindu traditions, ethical principles are taught from a young age through stories, rituals, and community practices, reinforcing the importance of Satitva. Cultural and religious contexts. Satitva is often discussed within cultural and religious contexts, where it may be linked to specific traditions and practices aimed at achieving moral and spiritual goals. It can be a guiding principle in various religious or spiritual disciplines, where it supports the pursuit of higher values and self-improvement. Practices like vrata, vows, and upvasa, fasting, are often observed to cultivate self-discipline and purity, aligning with the principles of Satitva. Integration with other practices. Satitva is not limited to sexual purity, but is often integrated with other practices and values such as self-discipline, moderation, and respect for others. It contributes to a broader understanding of moral and spiritual well-being, influencing how individuals approach their lives and relationships. In yoga, the practice of Brahmacharya, celibacy, aligns closely with Satitva, promoting the conservation and redirection of energy towards spiritual goals. Conclusion. Satitva encompasses a broader understanding of moral and spiritual integrity, integrating various aspects of personal conduct and ethical behavior. It represents a commitment to purity and fidelity in a holistic sense, influencing both spiritual and everyday life. Satitva's principles of purity and fidelity can be adapted to modern life, guiding individuals in their pursuit of moral and spiritual integrity across diverse contexts. Satitva in the context of sexuality, chastity and purity. Satitva involves maintaining chastity, which refers to sexual purity and moral conduct. It emphasizes abstaining from sexual activities that are considered unethical or inappropriate according to one's values or beliefs. This principle encourages individuals to uphold a standard of purity in their sexual behavior, aligning with personal, cultural, or religious expectations. Modern psychology also recognizes the benefits of self-discipline in maintaining healthy relationships and personal well-being. Fidelity and commitment. Satitva encompasses fidelity, which means remaining loyal and faithful to one's partner in a committed relationship. It involves respecting the boundaries and agreements made within a relationship, whether it's monogamous or otherwise. This aspect of Satitva stresses the importance of trust and dedication in sexual and romantic relationships. Many couples find that committing to fidelity and open communication strengthens their relationship, fostering deeper trust and connection. Self-discipline and control. Practicing Satitva involves self-discipline and control over one's sexual desires and impulses. It encourages individuals to manage their sexual urges in a way that aligns with their values and goals. This control can be seen as part of a broader commitment to personal integrity and moral behavior. Techniques like mindfulness meditation and journaling can help individuals manage their desires and align their actions with their values. Spiritual and moral growth. From a spiritual perspective, Satitva is often linked to the idea of personal and spiritual growth. It suggests that by maintaining purity and fidelity, individuals can achieve a higher level of spiritual development and moral clarity. It reflects the belief that sexual behavior is interconnected with overall spiritual well-being and ethical living. Just as fasting is used to purify the body and mind, maintaining chastity can be seen as a practice to purify one's thoughts and intentions. Cultural and religious practices. Satitva is often practiced within specific cultural or religious contexts where sexual behavior is guided by particular moral and ethical standards. In these contexts, Satitva may involve adherence to rituals, codes of conduct, or spiritual practices that promote sexual purity and moral integrity. In Jainism, the principle of Satitva is integral to the practice of ahimsa, non-violence, emphasizing the purity of mind and actions. Integration with personal values. The principle of Satitva can be integrated into an individual's personal values and lifestyle. It supports a coherent approach to sexuality that aligns with broader ethical and moral beliefs. This integration helps individuals maintain consistency between their sexual behavior and their overall ethical framework. Individuals can integrate Satitva by reflecting on their personal values and creating a code of conduct that aligns with their ethical and spiritual beliefs. Conclusion. Satitva, from a sexuality point of view, represents a comprehensive approach to sexual behavior that emphasizes chastity, fidelity, self-discipline, and alignment with personal, cultural, or spiritual values. It integrates these aspects into a broader understanding of moral and spiritual integrity, guiding individuals in their sexual conduct and relationships. Chastity. Chastity is a concept that embodies purity and moral integrity, particularly in the context of sexual behavior and personal conduct. In various cultural, religious, and philosophical traditions, Chastity represents the practice of abstaining from sexual activity or maintaining sexual behavior that aligns with certain ethical or spiritual principles. Here's an exploration of chastity and its implications. Understanding chastity. Definitions and aspects. Sexual chastity typically refers to refraining from sexual activity outside of a committed relationship, such as marriage, or adhering to certain moral or ethical standards regarding sexual behavior. Personal integrity. Chastity is also associated with maintaining personal integrity, respect for oneself and others, and adhering to one's moral or spiritual values. Chastity across contexts. Religious contexts. Many religions advocate chastity as a virtue. For example, in Christianity, chastity is often linked with celibacy and the commitment to sexual purity before marriage. In Hinduism and Buddhism, chastity can be part of spiritual discipline and self-control. Cultural contexts. In various cultures, chastity may be valued as part of moral upbringing and societal norms. It often reflects ideals about modesty, honor, and respect. Key aspects of chastity. Moral and ethical dimensions. Respect and honor. Chastity is often associated with respecting oneself and others, maintaining dignity, and honoring one's commitments. Self-discipline. It involves self-discipline and control over one's desires, focusing on higher moral or spiritual goals. Spiritual and religious significance. Spiritual purity. In many religious traditions, chastity is linked to spiritual purity and enlightenment. It is seen as a way to align with divine or spiritual principles. Religious vows. Many religious practitioners take vows of chastity as part of their spiritual practice, reflecting dedication to their faith and spiritual goals. Health and psychological impact. Emotional well-being. Practicing chastity can contribute to emotional stability and clarity, particularly in avoiding complications related to sexual relationships. Health considerations. In some contexts, chastity is promoted for health reasons, such as preventing sexually transmitted infections, STIs, or unplanned pregnancies. Challenges and considerations. Social pressure and misconceptions. Judgment and stigma. Individuals who choose to practice chastity may face societal judgment or stigma, which can affect their social interactions and mental health. Misinterpretations. Chastity can sometimes be misunderstood as repression or denial of natural desires, rather than a personal or spiritual choice. Balancing personal values. Individual choices. The decision to practice chastity is deeply personal and may vary based on individual beliefs, values, and life circumstances. Respect for diversity. It's important to respect diverse approaches to sexuality and personal conduct, acknowledging that chastity is one of many valid choices. Conclusion. Chastity represents a commitment to purity and moral integrity, encompassing sexual behavior, personal conduct, and spiritual values. It is a concept upheld in various religious, cultural, and personal contexts, reflecting principles of self-discipline, respect, and honor. While it offers several benefits, including emotional stability and spiritual focus, it also comes with challenges and requires an understanding of personal and societal dynamics. Recognizing and respecting individual choices regarding chastity helps promote a more inclusive and understanding society. Fidelity. Fidelity refers to the quality of being faithful and loyal to a person, cause, or belief. In various contexts, it encompasses commitment, loyalty, and adherence to promises or principles. Here's a detailed exploration of fidelity and its implications. Understanding fidelity. Definitions and aspects. Personal fidelity. In relationships, fidelity means remaining loyal and committed to one's partner, often implying exclusivity and trustworthiness. It is crucial in romantic relationships and marriage, reflecting dedication and integrity. Professional fidelity. In the workplace, fidelity involves loyalty to one's employer or profession, adhering to ethical standards, and fulfilling one's responsibilities and obligations. Fidelity to beliefs. Fidelity can also refer to steadfastness in adhering to personal, religious, or moral beliefs and principles. Key aspects of fidelity. Commitment and loyalty. Fidelity involves a strong commitment to a person, cause, or belief, demonstrating loyalty through actions and decisions. Trust and integrity. It builds trust and maintains integrity in relationships and interactions, ensuring that promises and expectations are honored. Exclusivity and reliability. In romantic contexts, fidelity often implies exclusivity and reliability, where partners do not engage in relationships or activities that could betray the trust or commitment of the partnership. Fidelity in different contexts. Romantic and marital fidelity. Exclusivity. In romantic relationships, fidelity is associated with sexual and emotional exclusivity, where partners are devoted to one another and avoid infidelity. Trust and security. It contributes to the stability and security of relationships, fostering a deep sense of trust and mutual respect. Challenges. Maintaining fidelity can be challenging due to various factors, including personal desires, temptations, and relational dynamics. Professional fidelity. Ethical conduct. Fidelity in the professional realm involves adhering to ethical standards, maintaining confidentiality, and fulfilling job responsibilities. Loyalty to employer. It reflects loyalty to one's employer or organization, contributing to a positive and productive work environment. Fidelity to beliefs and values. Consistency. Fidelity to personal or religious beliefs involves consistently living according to one's values and principles. Adherence to principles. It requires commitment to one's ethical or moral standards, even in the face of challenges or opposing viewpoints. Challenges and considerations. Maintaining fidelity. Personal and relationship dynamics. Fidelity can be tested by personal struggles, relational conflicts, or external pressures, requiring effort and communication to uphold. Societal expectations. Social and cultural expectations can influence perceptions of fidelity, impacting how it is practiced and understood. Balancing fidelity with personal needs. Individual needs. Balancing fidelity with personal needs and desires involves finding harmony between commitment and personal fulfillment. Respect for individual choices. Understanding that fidelity is a personal choice and may vary based on individual beliefs and circumstances. Conclusion. Fidelity represents a deep commitment and loyalty to individuals, causes, or beliefs, reflecting integrity, trust, and consistency. Whether in romantic relationships, professional settings, or adherence to personal values, fidelity is essential for building trust and maintaining strong connections. While it offers benefits such as stability and reliability, it also presents challenges that require conscious effort and understanding. Recognizing and respecting the importance of fidelity helps promote meaningful relationships and ethical conduct in various aspects of life. Distinctions among Brahmacharya, Satitva, Chastity, and Fidelity. Scope and integration. Brahmacharya. Focus primarily on self-discipline and control over sexual desires, often within a spiritual or ascetic framework. Integration emphasizes moderation and redirection of sexual energy towards spiritual or personal development goals. Satitva. Focus, a holistic principle encompassing various aspects, including chastity, fidelity, and self-discipline. Integration combines multiple virtues and practices to achieve comprehensive personal and spiritual integrity. Chastity. Focus specifically on maintaining sexual purity and moral behavior. Integration, often tied to personal or religious values, emphasizing purity and moral standards in sexual conduct. Fidelity. Focus centers on faithfulness and loyalty, particularly in relationships and commitments. Integration, related to maintaining trust and integrity in personal and relational contexts. Application and context. Brahmacharya. Application, applied within spiritual or ascetic practices, involving either complete abstinence or moderated sexual behavior. Context, linked to spiritual development and personal discipline. Satitva. Application, encompasses a broad range of practices, including chastity and fidelity, within a unified approach. Context, reflects a comprehensive approach to personal and spiritual integrity. Chastity. Application, focuses on specific practices related to sexual purity and abstinence or faithfulness. Context, often observed in personal or religious settings, with a focus on sexual conduct. Fidelity. Application, applied to maintaining loyalty and trust in relationships and commitments. Context, emphasizes relational integrity and adherence to promises. Purpose and objective. Brahmacharya. Purpose, to achieve spiritual growth and self-discipline by moderating sexual activity. Objective, redirection of sexual energy towards higher pursuits. Satitva. Purpose, to integrate various virtues and practices into a cohesive approach to personal integrity. Objective, achieve overall moral and spiritual integrity. Chastity. Purpose, to uphold personal purity and adhere to moral standards in sexual behavior. Objective, maintain sexual purity and moral conduct. Fidelity. Purpose, to ensure faithfulness and trustworthiness in relationships and commitments. Objective, maintain relational integrity and honor commitments. Cultural and spiritual dimensions. Brahmacharya. Dimension, associated with specific cultural or spiritual traditions, especially in Hindu philosophy. Context, aimed at spiritual and personal development through self-discipline. Satitva. Dimension, reflects a broader cultural and spiritual perspective, integrating multiple values and practices. Context, encompasses a wide range of practices for overall personal and spiritual integrity. Chastity. Dimension, can be tied to both religious and general cultural contexts. Context, focuses on sexual purity within personal or religious frameworks. Fidelity. Dimension, relevant in both personal and relational contexts, emphasizing loyalty and trust. Context, applies broadly to maintaining integrity in various forms of commitments. Commitment and practice. Brahmacharya. Commitment involves self-discipline and control over sexual desires as part of personal and spiritual growth. Practice includes practices that focus on spiritual and personal development. Satitva. Commitment integrates multiple commitments, including chastity and fidelity, into a broader framework. Practice encompasses various practices for achieving moral and spiritual integrity. Chastity. Commitment focuses specifically on maintaining sexual purity and adhering to moral behavior. Practice involves practices related to sexual conduct and personal values. Fidelity. Commitment involves remaining faithful and loyal in relationships and commitments. Practice centers on trust and integrity in relational contexts. Conclusion. Understanding these distinctions helps clarify how each concept uniquely contributes to discussions of sexual and moral discipline, emphasizing different aspects of personal and relational integrity. Related terms to Brahmacharya, Satitva, Chastity, and Fidelity. Purity. Definition: a state of being free from impurities, often used in a moral or spiritual context to describe cleanliness or integrity. Relevance: chastity often relates to the concept of purity, emphasizing moral and sexual cleanliness. Self-control. Definition: the ability to regulate one's emotions, thoughts, and behaviors in the face of temptations and impulses. Relevance: essential in practicing both Brahmacharya and chastity, as it involves managing sexual desires and maintaining discipline. Commitment. Definition: a firm dedication to a cause, relationship, or set of principles. Relevance: fidelity involves commitment to a partner, while Brahmacharya and Satitva involve commitment to personal or spiritual principles. Moral integrity. Definition: adherence to ethical principles and values, demonstrating consistency in moral behavior. Relevance: all these concepts emphasize moral integrity, whether in sexual behavior, relationships, or spiritual practices. Asceticism. Definition: the practice of severe self-discipline and abstention from all forms of indulgence, typically for religious or spiritual reasons. Relevance: closely related to Brahmacharya, especially in its traditional spiritual context where ascetic practices are involved. Spiritual discipline. Definition: the practice of self-control and adherence to spiritual practices and values. Relevance: integral to Brahmacharya and Satitva, emphasizing the role of discipline in spiritual growth and personal development. Virtue. Definition: a quality considered morally good or desirable in a person. Relevance: chastity, fidelity, and Brahmacharya can all be seen as virtues in various cultural and spiritual contexts. Ethical conduct. Definition: behavior that conforms to accepted moral principles and standards. Relevance: reflects the principles of chastity, fidelity, and Brahmacharya, emphasizing ethical behavior in personal and relational contexts. Self-restraint. Definition: the ability to hold back or control one's impulses and desires. Relevance: crucial for practicing Brahmacharya and maintaining chastity and fidelity, as it involves managing one's desires and behaviors. Temperance. Definition: moderation or voluntary self-restraint, particularly in eating and drinking. Relevance: reflects the broader principle of moderation, which is essential in Brahmacharya and general moral conduct. Devotion. Definition: love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person, activity, or cause, often used in a spiritual context. Relevance: essential in Satitva and Brahmacharya, highlighting the importance of dedicated practice and spiritual commitment. Mindfulness. Definition: the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something, often through meditative practices. Relevance: enhances self-control and spiritual discipline, crucial for maintaining Brahmacharya and Satitva. Respect. Definition: a feeling of deep admiration for someone or something elicited by their abilities, qualities, or achievements. Relevance: underpins the practice of fidelity and chastity, emphasizing respect for oneself and others in personal and relational contexts. Integrating related terms. These terms collectively enrich the understanding of concepts like chastity, fidelity, Brahmacharya, and Satitva by highlighting various aspects of personal and moral discipline, spiritual practice, and relational commitment. They reflect the broader principles of self-control, ethical behavior, and spiritual growth that are central to these practices. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment. Thanks for listening. Madan Mohan, Global Humanity Mission.